episode 19 of the CyberClinic Podcast. I am your host, Claude Bernard, a doctoral candidate in health informatics and cybersecurity advocate. In today's episode, we're taking on one of the most critical and personal topics of our time, mental health and well-being. We'll explore the roles of different mental health professionals, look at how technology and AI are changing the landscape of care, consider privacy concerns, and discuss what resources and supports are available for individuals and their loved ones. Mental health is at the heart of our overall well being, yet finding the right kind of support can feel overwhelming. Should you see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a therapist? Is digital therapy a good option, or should you start with community based care? The truth is, there is no single path that works for everyone. Mental health is deeply personal, shaped by our unique struggles, strengths, and circumstances. What's encouraging is that today we have more resources and options than ever before. Traditional professionals, psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists remain essential, but powerful innovations now join them in technology and AI, community based supports, and the unwavering presence of loved ones. Together, they form a network of care that can catch people when they fall, guide them toward healing, and help them build resilience for the future. So let's break this down together. When someone struggles with mental health, it's not always clear who they should see. The terms psychiatrist, psychologist, psychotherapist, and therapist often overlap in everyday language, but each plays a distinct role. Let's look at them. Psychiatrists, who they are, medical doctors, MD or DO, who specialize in mental health. What do? They diagnose mental illnesses, prescribe and manage medications, order lab tests, and sometimes provide therapy. For example, a patient with schizophrenia may see a psychiatrist, manage antipsychotic medication, while also coordinating with a therapist for counseling and a social worker for housing support. Psychologists, who they are, professionals with a PhD or PsyD in psychology. They are not medical doctors, cannot prescribe medication in most states, with some exceptions like New Mexico and Louisiana. What they do, conduct psychological testing, for example, IQ tests, personality assessments. They provide therapy like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT and engage in research. For example, a child struggling with learning difficulties and anxiety may be referred to a psychologist for an assessment to identify ADHD and for therapy sessions to improve coping skills. Psychotherapists, who they are, a broad category that includes psychologists, licensed clinical social workers, licensed professional counselors, marriage and family therapists, and others trained in talk therapy. What they do, they use therapeutic approaches, CBT, DBT, trauma focused therapy, etc., to help people manage emotional and mental challenges. For example, a veteran dealing with post traumatic stress disorder may work with a psychotherapist trained in trauma therapy to process memories and reduce flashbacks. Therapists, who they are, an umbrella term for professionals who provide therapy, including counselors, clinical social workers, or MFTs. What do? They address a wide range of issues such as grief, addiction, relationship problems, or life transitions. For example, a couple experiencing relationship conflict may see a marriage and family therapist to improve communication and rebuild trust. Related professionals, psychiatric nurse practitioners, can prescribe medications and provide therapy. For example, psychiatric nurse practitioner may manage antidepressants for someone with major depression. Occupational therapists help individuals with functional skills to live independently. For example, occupational therapists may support a person with schizoaffective disorder in developing routines for self-care and work. Peer support specialists, individuals with lived experience of mental health challenges who provide support and mentorship. For example, someone recovering from substance use disorder may benefit from a peer mentor who has walked a similar path. Primary care doctors, often the first point of contact for mental health concerns, prescribing initial medication or referring to specialists. For example, a primary care physician may screen for anxiety and start treatment while referring to a therapist for ongoing support. The key takeaway here is that psychiatrists are medical and medication management, psychologists, assessment and therapy, not usually meds, psychotherapists, umbrella for talk therapy professionals, therapists, counselors, social workers, MFTs, handling specialized issues, other providers fill important supportive or medical roles. So, how do we know who to see for what condition? For severe depression with suicidal thought, who to see? Psychiatrist to evaluate and prescribe antidepressants, mood stabilizers, or antipsychotics if necessary. Psychotherapist to provide ongoing counseling such as CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, or supportive therapy. Crisis services, hotlines, ER teams may be critical in emergencies. For example, a person unable to get out of bed, losing interest in daily life, and experiencing suicidal thoughts might start medication with a psychiatrist while also attending weekly therapy to learn coping strategies and prevent relapse. Anxiety and panic disorders, who to see, psychologist or therapist. For therapy based approaches like CBT, exposure therapy, or relaxation training, which are often first line. Psychiatrist, if symptoms are severe and require medication such as SSRIs or short term use of anti anxiety medication. For example, someone who experiences sudden panic attacks in public places might first see a psychologist to learn grounding techniques. But if daily functioning is severely impaired, a psychiatrist may prescribe medication alongside therapy. Substance use disorder, addiction, who to see? Psychiatrist to prescribe medication assisted treatments like methadone or naltrexone and manage co occurring conditions such as depression or anxiety. Addiction counselor or therapist to provide structured recovery support, relapse prevention strategies, and behavioral therapy. Peer support specialist to share lived experience, offer mentorship, and connect individuals with recovery communities like AA or NA. For example, a person struggling with alcohol dependence may attend detox overseen by a psychiatrist, join weekly counseling sessions with addiction therapists, and meet with a peer sponsor for accountability. Children with learning or behavioral issues. Children with learning or behavioral issues, who to see? Child psychologists for developmental, educational, or psychological testing to diagnose conditions like ADHD, dyslexia, or autism spectrum disorder. Therapists, counselors to support emotional regulation, social skills, and coping with frustration. Occupational therapists for sensory integration, fine motor skills, or behavior related interventions. For example, a child showing disruptive behavior at school may undergo testing by a child psychologist for ADHD and receive therapy to manage impulses. At the same time, parents and teachers are guided on supportive strategies. Adults facing life transitions or relationship issues. Who to see? Therapist or counselor for talk therapy, guidance, and coping strategies during stressful changes like divorce, grief, career changes, or relocation. Marriage and family therapist, MFT, for couples or family based interventions. For example, an adult navigating the stress of divorce may work with a therapist for individual coping, while also attending couples counseling with an MFT if co parenting is involved. Bottom line, mental health care is not one size fits all. The right professional depends on severity of symptoms. If it's mild, you see a therapist. Severe with risk, you see a psychiatrist and her team. Type of condition, addiction, you see a psychiatrist, counselor, and peer support. Age and context, children, child psychologist, adults, therapist. Best outcomes often come from a team based approach, blending medical treatment, therapy, and community support, bridging traditional care and modern innovation. In exploring the roles of psychiatrists, psychologists, psychotherapists, therapists, and related professionals, one thing becomes clear. Mental health care is complex and often requires a team based approach. Yet, even the best care teams face limitations, shortages of providers, long wait times, high costs, and barriers for people in rural or underserved communities. This is where technology and artificial intelligence step in, not as replacements for professionals, but as powerful extensions and supplements to their work. Technology and AI in mental health. AI chatbots and virtual companions. For examples, Wobot, Wiser, Replica. The role these chatbots provide 24/7 conversational support, guiding users through evidence based techniques like CBT or mindfulness. The impact someone experiencing anxiety at 2 in the morning may not be able to reach their therapist, but a chatbot can help them track their thoughts, calm their breathing, or reframe negative thinking until professional help is available. Teletherapy platforms. Examples: BetterHelp, Talkspace, Amwell, Roll, secure video sessions, messaging, and even group therapy options online. The impact teletherapy has expanded access for people in rural areas, those with mobility issues, or those who face financial or scheduling barriers. It reduces stigma. People can seek help privately from the comfort of their own home. AI powered diagnostic tools. Examples: research stage, algorithms analyzing speech cadence, typing speed, or facial micro expressions to flag early signs of depression, bipolar disorder, or PTSD. Impact: a college counseling center could use such tools to identify at risk students before they reach a crisis point. In clinical practice, these tools may one day augment diagnosis and allow early interventions. Virtual reality VR therapy. Examples: VR programs for exposure therapy or PTSD treatment. The role: patients safely confront traumatic situations, combat zones, car accidents, social settings in a controlled environment. The impact: a veteran with combat related PTSD may use VR to gradually desensitize to triggering stimuli guided by a therapist who adjusts the intensity. Challenges and ethical considerations. While these innovations are promising, they also bring risks. Privacy. Sensitive health data could be exposed if not securely handled. Accuracy. Algorithms may misinterpret cultural differences, tone, or context. Over reliance. Some users may substitute technology for professional care, delaying needed interventions. Equity. Technology is only helpful if people have access to devices and the internet, which is not guaranteed in underserved communities. Key takeaway: technology and AI are reshaping mental health care, complementing the vital roles of human professionals. They can extend care beyond the therapist's office, personalize support, and bridge gaps for people who might otherwise go without help. However, they must be implemented thoughtfully, ethically, and always with the patient's well being at the center. From innovation to responsibility, as exciting as these innovations are, AI chatbots, teletherapy, diagnostic algorithms, and VR therapy, they raise an important question. How do we balance access and convenience with safety and trust? While technology has the power to extend mental health care beyond the clinic walls, it also introduces new vulnerabilities. Mental health is deeply personal, and for many people, the decision to seek help already carries stigma and fear. If trust in privacy is compromised, people may hesitate to use these tools altogether. Privacy concerns: should sufferers feel at ease? Hesitation. Many avoid care out of worry that their struggles will be exposed to employers, insurers, or even family. The safeguard: in the US, HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, sets strong standards for protecting medical records, including psychotherapy notes. Providers are bound by law to confidentiality, with limited exceptions like imminent risk of harm. But digital tools add new dimensions. Are conversations with mental health apps truly encrypted and secure? Who owns the sensitive data from wearables that track heart rate, sleep, or stress levels? Can anonymized data be re identified, putting users at risk? Researchers emphasize that trust is the foundation of digital mental health. Patients should feel empowered to ask providers and app developers how their information is stored and used, while policymakers push for clearer, stricter, data standards to keep pace with innovation. This sets the stage for exploring not just what technology can do, but also how safely and ethically it should be used. After discussing technology and privacy, you may wonder what practical resources are available if someone needs help right now. The good news is that support comes in many shapes and sizes, some immediate, some ongoing, and many more accessible than people realize. National hotlines in the US, dialing 988 connects you directly to trained crisis counselors, available 24/7. It's fast, free, and confidential. Community health centers. Many local clinics provide low cost or sliding scale counseling, making therapy more affordable for people without insurance. Employer assistance programs, EAPs. These workplace benefits often include a handful of free, confidential counseling sessions, something many employees don't even realize they have. Peer support groups, whether in person or online, groups like NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, or Alcoholics Anonymous create safe spaces to share experiences with others who get it. Technology tools, meditation apps, mood trackers, and even digital communities can serve as daily companions, helping people stay grounded between therapy sessions. The key here is that support doesn't have to look just one way. For some, it's a hotline in a moment of crisis. For others, it's ongoing therapy or simply a daily app check in. The role of loved ones. And while professional help and digital tools are vital, there's another piece we can't overlook: the people closest to us. Mental health doesn't exist in isolation. It unfolds within families, friendships, and communities. When loved ones show up, recovery is stronger and more sustainable. Here's how they can help. Listening without judgment. Sometimes just having someone hear you out can reduce the weight of what you're carrying. Encouraging professional help without pressuring. Gently reminding someone that support exists can make a difference without making them feel forced. Learning about conditions. When family and friends take the time to understand depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, or PTSD, they can respond with empathy instead of confusion. Promoting healthy routines, encouraging exercise, better sleep, social connection, and balanced meals may sound simple, but these habits have profound effects on mood and resilience. Research consistently shows that strong social support networks lower relapse rates, boost recovery, and even prevent crises before they happen. In fact, sometimes it's the presence of one trusted friend or family member that gives someone the courage to keep going. Together, professional care, digital tools, and loved ones create a three-layer safety net, one that catches people in crisis, supports them in daily life, and helps them move toward lasting well-being. To conclude, in the end, mental health care is not about choosing between professionals, technology, or loved ones. It's about how these pieces come together. A psychiatrist may prescribe life changing medication. A therapist may help someone develop new coping skills. A digital tool may provide support in between sessions. And a trusted friend may offer encouragement to keep going. Yes, challenges remain: privacy, accessibility, stigma, but the direction is clear. Mental health is moving toward a more integrated, compassionate, and innovative model of care. And at the center of it all is the individual whose journey matters most. If there's one takeaway, it's this: you don't have to walk through mental health challenges alone. Help exists in many forms at many levels, and reaching out is the first step toward healing, growth, and lasting well being. Thank you for listening.